Question 17. ABCD is a quadrilateral. A quadrilateral is a four-sided shape. ABCD are the vertices, the corners. So it's saying A joined to B, C and D form this quadrilateral. So if we notice, we don't have angles in here. We have x degrees, 3x degrees, 2x degrees, and then this square here represents a right angle, and we know that is 90 degrees. So the question is asking me, part A is asking for the value of x. So we know now we're going to have to set up some sort of equation to work out what x is. So we use the rules, angles in a quadrilateral add up to 360 degrees. So that means that all of these angles added together makes 360. So if I write that down in an equation, I'd have to say that this angle, add that one, add that one, add that one, equals 360. So x add 2x, add 3x, add 90 degrees equals 360 degrees. So I need to solve this equation now to work out what x is. So I have three kinds of x here. I've got 1x, 2x and 3x. If I've got to add those together, I add together 1, add 2, add 3. So that'll give me 6 altogether. So I've got 6x add 90 degrees, and that still equals 360. So the rules of equations, we have to first of all get the letter on its own, and secondly change side, change sign. So if it's a times on this side, it goes to a divide on the other side. Opposite side of the equal sign, opposite sign. So the opposite of timesing is dividing. The opposite of dividing would be timesing. The opposite of adding would be taking away. And the opposite of taking away would be adding. So we need to first of all move the 90. It's the easiest thing to move across because at this point it's not attached to the x. So we keep the 6x here, and then we take the 90 to the other side. So when we're doing equations, we keep our equal sign in a nice straight line because that helps us see clearly what to do next. The 360 was already there, so don't be rude and steal its seat. Bring it down. So now we can move this 90 degrees over the other side. So it's a positive 90 over here. It says plus 90 degrees. So using the rule of changing side, changing sign, if it's a positive over here, when I take it to the other side, it's going to become a negative. So I change that sign, positive to negative. Now that's quite easy to work out. So I have another line of work in. 360 take away 90 is 270. Now, I still don't have the letter on its own. I need to get rid of this 6. I need to bring the 6 to the other side. So I would be left with x on its own equals 270 was there first. Don't be rude. And now when I take this 6 over to the other side, what's it going to become? Well, the 6 is right next to the x, it's touching, there's no sign in between. So that means it's multiplying. So if it's a times by 6 over this side, when we take it to the other side, it's going to be a divide by 6. So the sum I need to do to find out what x is 270 degrees divided by 6. So that doesn't go in nicely, so we're going to do a short division method here. 270. How many times does 6 go into 2? None. Carry it over. How many times does 6 go into 27? Well, that's 4 times, because 6 times 4 is 24. And then I'd have 3 left over. So how many times does 6 go into 30? 5 times. So 270 divided by 6, x must be 45 degrees. So 4 marks available here. The examiner will give you 1 mark if you've set up the equation, adding all of the angles together to make 360. That'll be 1 mark. They'll then follow your workings down and give you a mark if you've got to 6x is 270. You've shown that you can change side, change sign. And then the next one for 270 divided by 6. And your final mark of 45 degrees. If you've made a little mistake and said that the quadrilateral, all angles in a quadrilateral need to make 180, then the examiner will give you 2 marks if you've correctly set up the equation and worked it out as 15 degrees. So if you set up your x plus 2x plus 3x plus 90. So the mistake would have come from here. But if you've worked all of that out and then said x is 15 degrees, then the examiner will give you 2 marks. Part B. When ABCD is drawn to scale, would the lines AD and BC be parallel or not? You must justify your answer without using a scale drawing. So the line AD and BC. So looking at my diagram, the line AB is here. Sorry, AD. This line AD and BC. BC. That's line BC. So it says here that this diagram is not drawn to scale, meaning that it's not accurate. So some lines could be a bit wonky, some degrees might not be perfect, they might not be the correct size. So this here looks like this line is going straight up and this line is a little bit wonky. But the question is asking whether those 2 lines are parallel. So parallel means 2 lines that will never ever meet. So even if I keep drawing them, they will never cross over. There's another one we need to know, which is perpendicular. So that means that these lines, these 2 lines here, meet at a right angle. They cross over at a right angle. That's perpendicular. So how do we know if these 2 lines are parallel? So it says here that this angle is 90 degrees. What would this angle be? We could then see how far this line would be across. So we've worked out that x is 45 degrees. So that's 90 degrees here. This is 2x. So if I've got 2 of the x's, then I've got 2 times 45, which equals 90 degrees. So that means that this angle is 90 degrees and this angle is 90 degrees. So actually, point A is here, point B is here. We have 2 90-degree angles. So we need to put a reason now. We need to justify our answer. So we need to write a little sentence and simply saying, yes, they are perpendicular. They are parallel as they are perpendicular to the line AB. So these two lines are perpendicular to this line here. They meet at a right angle, 90 degrees and 90 degrees. So that would mean that yes, they are parallel. If I kept drawing these two lines, they would never, ever, ever touch. You could also say that they are parallel because of the co-interior angles are the same. So this is 90 degrees and this is 90 degrees. That would be your other reasoning. Either one of those reasons would be fine. So the examiner will give you 1 mark if you have noticed that 2x is 90 degrees and that your other mark will come from one of these reasons.